Hello there, everybody. This is Mel Allen. We're at the midway point, and baseball is going strong. A burly Brave powers his way into the record books with 4 firm flyaways, proving that in some cases, might makes right. It takes fortitude to play this game, especially when robust big leaguers have to face the hard realization that they're not invincible. Minnesota muscle is solid as can be as the Brawny Twins take a vigorous run at a potent record, but they face a stiff challenge. In a tour de force, a Baltimore stalwart overcame rugged conditions and then put on a tough act to follow. So brace yourselves for a sturdy call on This Week in Baseball. Celebrating our 10th anniversary.
Happy 10th anniversary. This Week in Baseball, Mel Allen, you're hot.
National League. In San Francisco, the Giants stand tall. Once again in a seesaw battle with Houston, the Giants got back atop the West by sinking St. Louis. In Game 1, Mike Krukow shot down the Cardinals by tossing a 4-hit shutout. Good for win number 10. Giant fans were fired up by the efforts of Randy Kutcher, who provided the only run of the game by going downtown. The 26-year-old outfielder was called up after 7 years in the minors, and he's proving it's never too late, hitting safely in 18 of his first 20 games with the Giants, including Game 2 against the Cardinals.
Way back. It's gone. Second home run in less than 24 hours for Kutcher.
The Giants' second solid pitching in 24 hours came from Mike Lacoste, who went the distance on a 5-hitter for win number 8, dropping his ERA to 2.61. The Cards took Game 3, but a full house turned out for the finale to honor Willie McCovey, a San Francisco legend who will enter baseball's Hall of Fame this summer. Another reason for the turnout, Steve Carlton making his first start as a Giant. Lefty was going for career win number 319, but didn't get it, giving up 8 hits and 3 runs in 3 1/3 innings. But San Francisco came back to win it, thanks in part to Candy Maldonado, who drove in 2 runs as a pinch hitter. That made him 13 for 28 in the pinch this year, with 4 homers and 16 RBIs.
Regardless of what lineup I play now, I do have a strong bench, and but Maldonado's done a good job. I'm not saying that he should be a regular or should be a pinch hitter. I haven't really found out yet. Sometimes guys are better off on the bench, and they're a better weapon for you to have on the bench than playing every day. I don't know this yet. I'm not that smart, and hopefully I can find out very soon.
Opponents have found out that the Giants are for real. Now, for a look at a booming Brave who belted his way into history.
There are 2 outs in the 9th inning, but nobody's going anywhere because here comes Bob Horner. 3 home runs in his first 3 at-bats. He came up again in the 7th inning and fouled out to first. Only 10 players have ever hit 4 in one game. That's one of baseball's most coveted records. Reardon delivers. There's a fly ball, deep left center field. Bob Horner has become the 11th player in baseball history to hit 4 homers in one game.
How about that? Andy McGaffigan gave up Horner's first 3 homers, although Montreal won the game 11-8. Horner's outburst gave him a total of 17 home runs, and he attributes his power to simplicity at the plate.
I was taught when I was a little kid, the more simple you can keep everything, the better chance you have of doing it well, because, you know, you cut down on your margin for error. I've always thought that to be true, and I still do today. I think the shorter and the more compact you can make everything, the less chance you are to fall into bad habits.
Philadelphia's Mike Schmidt was the last man to hit 4 in one game, but that took 10 innings. It was against the Cubs in 1976. Hall of Famer Willie Mays was the last player to crack 4 homers in a 9-inning game, doing it for San Francisco in 1961 against the Milwaukee Braves. For Horner, history sounded sweet in any language.
Oh, frappé avec force dans la gauche, c'est par-dessus la clôture. Bob Horner réussit son 14e circuit de la saison et les va prendre le vent.
Magnifique, Monsieur Horner. Houston Astrodome, site of this year's All-Star Game. And here at each position are the fans' National League choices. Catching, Gary Carter, New York Mets. At first base, Met teammate Keith Hernandez. At second base, Ryan Sandberg, Chicago Cubs. At shortstop, Ozzie Smith, St. Louis Cardinals. At third, Mike Schmidt, Philadelphia Phillies. In the outfield, Tony Gwynn, San Diego Padres. Dale Murphy, Atlanta Braves. And the league's top vote-getter overall, Darryl Strawberry of the Mets. The National League manager is Whitey Herzog of St. Louis. Now let's open the notebook for This Week in Baseball's Twib Notes from around the National League. Cincinnati got trampled by some thoroughbreds from Philadelphia. In a 12-5 victory, the Phillies wrapped out 7 extra base hits in 1 inning to tie a Major League record. The last team to do it, the same Phillies in 1949. Just 2 weeks earlier, Philadelphia set a National League record with 15 extra base hits in 1 game, a 19-1 demolition of Chicago. Who's Glenn Davis? Well, Houston fans know he's the league home run leader with 19 in his first full big league season. The Astro first baseman blasted 2 against Montreal and raised his RBI count to 55.
One of my responsibilities, or one of the things that I've been able to do, is drive in runs and hit the long ball. And I feel like I'm more mature, you know. I'm a little bit more relaxed, and things are coming a little bit more easy. I'm not pressing as hard, and I'm just going out there and playing, and slowly, you know, I can feel just my natural abilities are starting to take over.
Atlanta Ironman Dale Murphy did not play in a game against Philadelphia, and thus brought to an end his consecutive games played streak at 740, longest among active players, and 11th longest in Major League history. Now it's time for this week's quiz, brought to you by Nissan. Test drive the all-new Nissan truck hard bodies at your Nissan Datsun dealer now. Ray Knight was having a tough night, striking out 4 straight times against Houston, but in the last of the 10th, Knight unloaded a game-winning homer. It's been that kind of a year for the Mets. Fact is, they haven't been shut out yet. But for this week's quiz, can you name the only team this century to play an entire season without getting shut out? Stay tuned for a club that won 107 games. American League. In Cleveland, the Indians whoop it up. The Indians made lots of noise in the East by winning 7 straight to briefly take over second place. They outscored their opponents 55-18 during that streak.
Belted to deep center field. Moses to the warning track. The wall, fly away. 0-1 the count. And the pitch is swung on and hit deep into left center field. Going over Bradley to the warning track. The wall, that will fly away. That pitch is hit into the gap in right center field, and nobody's going to get to this one. That will go all the way to the wall. Well tagged. Goodbye, baseball.
The Tribe celebrated July 4th with more than 73,000 fans, largest big league crowd in 13 years. And they saw rookie Corey Snyder continue his red-hot ways. 5 homers in 7 games for a total of 7 in his first 20 games in the majors. Andre Thornton was on a power drive, too, with 10 RBIs in 4 games, including a grand slam against the fading Royals, who suffered their longest losing streak in team history at 11 games. Kansas City also came up short against 47-year-old Phil Niekro, who baffled Royal batters with his fluttering knuckleball, going all the way for win number 5. Knucksy won again next time out for career victory number 306, moving him into 15th place on the all-time list.
Phil Niekro is one of those throwback people that has a great desire to excel. I'm pulling for Phil Niekro, and I'm pulling for anybody that gets to that part of their life. And, you know, it's got to be more than dollars and cents. It's got to be that beautiful feeling of accomplishment and be a part of today's baseball. And, hey, Phil, I hope you keep doing it.
If the Indians keep doing it, the rest of the East better watch out. On to Minnesota, where the hard-hitting Twins are gunning for home run history.
Whoa! Deep to left field, off the bat of Brunansky. If it stays fair, it's gone. It's fair and gone.
That's high to right. Bain just looks up, and this ball is long gone.
Throws a fastball, and Puckett unloads. Deep out to left center field. Well tagged, going. It is gone. A home run into the monuments out in deep left center field.
The assault on the 61 Yankee record continues. Team homer number 118 and a 4-0 lead.
Yes, indeed, the Twins are in the swing, on course to break the record of 240 homers in a season. First baseman Kent Hrbek leads the way with 20, while outfielder Tom Brunansky has 17.
I think the reason why our ball club is hitting the home runs that we have is the fact that we have finally matured as a ball club. You know, we were a young club a couple years ago, and now everyone is having the kind of year that everyone has expected of them. I think everybody in our lineup, with Kent Hrbek, Gary Gaetti, myself, Kirby Puckett, are hitting home runs. All through our lineup, 1 through 9, are capable of hitting home runs, and we have been hitting them. And if we continue to hit the home runs at this pace, we know we're going to score a lot more runs, and hopefully we'll get ourselves right back in the pennant drive. We're not really concerned too much about breaking the record. We just want to win our division.
Muscle man outfielder Kirby Puckett had 16 after totaling just 4 over the past 2 seasons. And he credits much of his newfound power to hitting coach Tony Oliva.
This year, Tony Oliva worked with me in spring training, and I was fortunate enough to get my swing together. Tony told me, don't worry about it. He's going to work with me, and we devised a system now that if I stay back on the ball and drive the ball, you know, no telling what can happen. And so I had to say Tony Oliva has really helped me tremendously, so I give him all the credit.
Third baseman Gary Gaetti had 18 and says the real reason the Twins are sounding off is simple.
A lot of big, strong dudes that practice hitting home runs.
Now, here are the fans' choices at each position for this year's American League All-Star team. Catching, Lance Parrish, Detroit Tigers. At first, California's Wally Joyner, first rookie in history to be voted an All-Star Game starter. At second base, Detroit's Lou Whitaker, and at shortstop, Baltimore's Cal Ripken, the league's top vote-getter overall. At third, George Brett, Kansas City Royals. In the outfield, Kirby Puckett, Minnesota Twins. Rickey Henderson, New York Yankees. And Yankee teammate Dave Winfield. Managing the American League is Dick Hauser of Kansas City. Now, let's review this week in baseball's TWIB notes from around the American League. Dave Winfield of the New York Yankees reached a milestone in a 14-3 romp over Texas. This bases-loaded triple was career hit number 2,000 for 34-year-old Winfield, now playing in his 14th Major League season. In the same game, Scott Nielsen made his big league debut, going 7 innings and getting the win. Due mostly to injuries, the Yankees now count 4 rookies among their starting pitchers. Detroit rookie Eric King helped his own cause while improving his record to 5-1 with a win over Minnesota. King made 4 unassisted putouts and had a total of 6, tying the Major League record for putouts by a pitcher in one game. Now let's put out the answer to this week's Nissan quiz. The 1932 World Champion Yankees of Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth won 107 games, and they were the only team this century to go a full season without being shut out. In fact, no team shut out New York from August 3rd, 1931 to August 2nd, 1933. A big league record of 308 straight games. You know, fans, sometimes baseball is so bizarre it can drive you batty. So let's check out a few oddball occurrences from this season. Take the case of Andy Van Slyke, who rarely plays first base for St. Louis, but in a game against the Mets, he did. Gary Carter was the batter with a man on first and Bob Forsch pitching. That's where Van Slyke found himself and lost himself on a double play chance.
And a ground ball to Van Slyke at first, on to the Wizard and back to first. And Forsch was there, but Van Slyke caught the ball.
Well, the Mets had a mess up of their own in a game against Cincinnati. Dave Parker on first, a 3-2 count on the batter.
The runner does go. The pitch is taken. Strike three, and the throw will get Parker. It's a strikeout double play.
Oh, he didn't tag him.
He didn't tag him.
Right on. A mental lapse like that one by Wally Backman can feel frustrating. But if you want to see frustration, here's Yankee reliever Dave Righetti in the last of the ninth, facing Toronto's George Bell. Bases loaded. That ball is going, and it is gone. A grand slam by Bell to tie the game. Righetti's response, a rare pitch right into the right field stands. Philadelphia manager John Felsky made a move that paid off big. Pittsburgh had the bases full with one out in the last of the 10th, so Glenn Wilson was moved in from the outfield to play right behind second base. A five-man infield that worked to perfection, giving Pirate skipper Jim Leyland a nightmare.
Right back up the middle. The play's going to work. The play is going to work. The five-man infield with Glenn Wilson at second base works.
How about that? And how about the rarest occurrence of all? After Steve Carlton signed with San Francisco, he broke his 10-year code of silence and spoke with the media.
Well, you can't make a move like this and not talk to the media. That'd be, I don't know about the future. We'll see what that holds, but no, this is fine, no problems.
Man alive, baseball is just full of surprises. Time now to pick up the pace. Get serious with major leaguers who know how to work a glove. So keep your eye on the ball now and watch them pick it. Starting off, Greg Walker, the Chicago White Sox, up and over to Neil Allen. Cincinnati's Buddy Bell. Minnesota's Greg Gagne. The Chicago Cubs' Ryne Sandberg. San Diego's Gary Templeton. San Francisco's Chris Brown. New York Met, Mookie Wilson. Montreal's Tim Raines. The Yankees, Claudell Washington. The White Sox, Bobby Bonilla. Texas Ranger Pete O'Brien on to Charlie Huff. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, Enos Cabell converting with help from Oral Hershiser. The Mets again with Keith Hernandez high-rolling to Bob Ojeda. And finally, Hernandez one more time on a game-ender. Now, it's This Week in Baseball's 10th anniversary flashback, brought to you by Gatorade. Let's flash back to 1980. Baltimore catcher Rick Dempsey comes from a showbiz family background. Never more apparent than during a rain delay in Boston when Dempsey brought sunshine to a dismal day with a smashing performance.
It started to rain right at the end of batting practice, and there was one ball left out on the tarp. I ran out. I figured if I ran out and picked up that one ball, everybody would start cheering for that one ball. But then the organist started playing some kind of rain dance music, you know, so it was slippery going out on that tarp. So I was slipping and sliding to get to that one ball. By the time I got there, everybody started to sing. So we started singing, and I started sliding, and I got a standing ovation, which made it all the better. And then I just did a little Babe Ruth pantomime and ran around the bases and slid in home, and everybody thought it was great.
A great show like that deserves an encore. And that's exactly what Dempsey did 3 years later in 1983 during a rain delay in Milwaukee. This time, teammate Sammy Stewart took part.
We went down the last day of the season with the Milwaukee Brewers, and they won the pennant on the last day of the season when Robin Young hit 2 home runs off of Jim Palmer. So we went into Milwaukee the next year, and it had rained, and it rained us out, and so Rick Dempsey and myself went out there, and he had his uniform on, and he peeled it off, and there he had Robin Yount's uniform on. So I had Jim Palmer's uniform on with 2 pair of jockey shorts on to signify the 2 home runs that he had gave up. So I did his motion and gave up the first home run, took the pair of underwear off and slammed them down on the turf, and then he hit another one, and I took it off and slammed it down and ran over and slid in front of Rick Dempsey as he went around the bases.
So they started showing the pantomime act of in Boston in 1977 on their screen in Milwaukee, and so the guys come looking for me again, and they found me hiding in that back locker in Milwaukee, so they picked me up and they stuffed my shirt and everything. They happened to get me a shirt of Robin Yount's that time, so instead of doing the Babe Ruth pantomime, I did a Robin Yount pantomime. I hit 2 home runs, and Sammy was the pitcher, and he wore his little jockey underwear out there, and he added a little something to it.
When your career is over, Rick, Broadway awaits. Off-Broadway, that is. And that's all for now, folks. See you next week on This Week in Baseball.
Joe Tate and Jack Corrigan will bring you all the action when the Tribe takes on the Kansas City Royals next Thursday night at 8:30 here on WUAB. The Herb Score Sports Show is next on Channel 43.